Hello YouTube, I'm Rick and this is my video blog. A movie has been announced. A movie that has been long awaited, that at the same time probably should never have been conceived. A movie that fans everywhere have either wanted or desperately not wanted at the same time for years. A movie based on the critically acclaimed books known simply as Artemis Fowl. That is right, people. They have announced an Artemis Fowl movie. The announcement comes from Disney, who has approached producer. Let's see. I'm stuck in names. Harvey Weinstein. I know. For all of you who, hear them say, he's a producer mainly. He's produced a lot of stuff. He's pretty much produced almost like a crap ton of movies. Most notably being Django Unchained, Inglourious Basterds, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or at least those are the ones I recognize when I went on his IMDb page. It's a long resume. But, yeah, Artemis Fowl the movie. It is finally happening. Now, like I said, this has leaves fans with very mixed feelings. Now, first off, woohoo! This is awesome. I mean, an Artemis Fowl movie is something at least I've wanted to see at the same time, or for a long time. But at the same time, a book movie based on Artemis Fowl, you could see, or that alone ought to tell you why fans are worried. Hollywood doesn't have the best track record with movies based on books. I mean, not to say they haven't made good book movies. For example, Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, at least the first two. I haven't seen Don Treader yet, so I can't judge. But Harry Potter, that was good. But at the same time, Aragon, Percy Jackson, according to the people who actually read the books. I didn't. I liked the movie, but I never read the books. So, according to people who have read the books, it was crap. So, I'll just go with that. So, yeah, obviously, this has fans worried and excited at the same time. Myself included. I am both, jumping off the walls with excitement and cowering in the corner going, this could be either really awesome or really horrible. I'm really hoping for the previous one, but a lot of people are just saying the latter. Now, factors included, first off, a lot of people kind of cringed when they heard Disney, and I guess I can kind of understand that. Now, first off, I didn't mind their Chronicles of Narnia movies, at least the ones I saw. The casting was great, the direction was great, everything was great about the two films I saw. But at the same time, the reason they chose Disney for this is, I'm reading a quote from the president of Walt Disney Studios Motion Picture Production. That's a mouthful. Artemis Fowl's balance of mystery, adventure, and family appeal makes the books a natural fit for Disney. We're looking forward to collaborating with Harvey on this exciting project. Spoiler alert. Butler, one of the main characters in the books, for those who haven't read it, he got gutted by a troll. His head was on backwards. But this is for families. Okay, for those who don't know, I think I should have brought this up earlier. Artemis Fowl is about a boy named Artemis Fowl who is, in the first book, 12 years old, and good lord, is he a genius. And I mean that, like, and not just, oh, he's extremely clever. No, he is a scientific prodigy. Like, that's his big thing. He is a mastermind, and he is a criminal mastermind at that. According to the story, the Fowl name has been associated with crime lords since, time began, practically, and Artemis Fowl has that criminal streak in him, and he's an absolute prodigy genius. And the story is about him discovering fairies. Yeah, just go with me on this one. Discovering the fairy world and kidnapping a fairy to hold her for ransom in order to gain, the fairy gold, because fairies gold. And only the thing about these fairies is that they're not like, little things with little wings twittering around flowers singing happy songs all day. They are organized. They are, dangerous. These people are powerful creatures. And they do have magic, but they also have lots of science and technology, years of beyond ours. So they're dangerous creatures. The elf that he chose, and I like Artemis Fowl series because they're all technically fairies, but then you got classifications like elf, troll, dwarf, centaur, etc., goblins, and the elf he kidnaps, named Holly Short, is a leprechaun. But that's just a job. I love how he did that. And she is part of the LEP, the Lower Elements Police, and the LEP comes after Artemis and Holly in force. And it makes for a really good book, kind of a kidnapping ransom book, but it is an amazing, and it turns into a wonderful series after, so following what happens to Holly and Artemis afterwards. And it's got, what I like about it is that a lot of these things, it's all about the adventures and stuff. You don't know or get much into the characters. This one is just as much character driven as it is adventure driven. And now I think that is one of the things that Disney will have to, or is a obstacle Disney is going to have to challenge them with. Now, one of the first concerns, obviously, book movie, things are going to have to be cut up, butchered. We're afraid that it's just going to completely butcher the source material, which nobody wants. This kind of grew me irksome when they revealed that the movie would be based on not the first book, but the first two books, which would be Artemis Fowl and Artemis Fowl Arctic Incident. Which, okay, odd choice. I mean, I guess it could work, but I don't know. I'm just gonna say screw it. If you haven't read the books, stop the video, because I'm just gonna say screw it with the spoilers. I don't understand why they would do that, because it feels so weird that. Because I feel the first book could have filled up a movie all by its own. Because then you have it would just make a great kidnapping ransom movie with Artemis kidnapping Holly, and that'd be that. But now with the two books together, you would introduce Artemis to the fairy world, have him kidnap Holly, and have her be rescued and all that stuff midway through the movie. And then you would transition to, I think in the books it's a year later, 2 years. I think it was 1 year, or 6 months, or whatever. Sometime later, with the Goblin Triads and Opal Cowboy, or Kaboe, or however you want to pronounce that. Kaboe is a nice Opal Kaboe, and all that stuff. And I don't know. I just don't feel that could work in one whole movie. A sequel. I mean, it would work as individual movies, just as it worked in individual books, but I would feel odd with the whole kidnapping ransom, Artemis Fowl being the villain, pretty much, because that's the part. It's called Artemis Fowl. In the first book, Artemis Fowl was practically the villain. I mean, if you want a main villain, I guess there were antagonists to both Artemis and Holly, and Root, and all that, but I guess you could say Cudgeon if you needed a villain for everybody. I guess you could say Cudgeon was, but for all intents and purposes, Artemis was the villain of the first book, and it would feel weird, ending that whole story halfway through the movie and then going into Brian Cudgeon and Opal Cowboy and Artemis and Holly becoming friends halfway, or for the second half of the movie. That just feels weird to me. That just feels odd, but at the same time, I guess it could work. But I think what is really going to make or break this movie, in my opinion, would have to be the casting. Because, like I said, this series ruled because the characters were awesome. And that means that the casting director, oh, I feel sorry for whoever that is going to have to work their butt off to find the actors for these characters that are absolutely perfect. I mean, I don't know about the rest of the fans of the series, but for me, they cannot do any less than perfect for this to be satisfactory. You know, it okay just wouldn't be good enough to do justice for these characters. For example, Artemis, you're going to need someone who, first off, obviously for all the roles, you need someone who can look the part. That's just something that needs to be done. Second, for Artemis, you need someone who can look like a 12-year-old boy and yet bring up that aura that you're talking to a full-grown, well-educated man. And I don't know if there's a lot of child or actors that young that can pull that off and still look the part. I'm sure the internet is full of ideas. I don't know. No one comes to my mind. Another good example, Butler. Artemis's butler and bodyguard. That one's going to be extremely difficult because you got to find the guy that is pretty much that procures the image of a man mountain. I know I've seen a lot of people say Jason Statham, or however you pronounce that name, I don't know, would be a good choice, and I guess I could think of plenty of worse ideas, but at the same time, you look at Jason Statham, I mean, he's built, he's kind of big, but I don't look at him and think, oh my gosh! And I think that's the feeling you need if you want to bring in Butler. Haven't heard a lot of ideas for Holly Short, but I'm sure there are some plenty good actresses, and there's just so many characters, memorable characters that you need to get right. Artemis, Butler, Holly Short, Commander Julius Root. You know, you got the one I've actually heard that might do that one good is Robert De Niro, who is actually, I think, going to be one of the producers for the film. Yeah, he's one of the producers for it, and actually, I think that could work. Mulch Diggums. That would be very fun. That would actually be fun to see who they come up with. Whoever plays him, though, will have the role of a lifetime. Have the funnest role of their life, I think, playing Mulch. For those who read the book, you know what I'm talking about. That would be fun. Foley. Oh, gosh, Foley. I didn't even think about Foley. And it's... The casting for this, in order to make any fan happy, would have to be absolutely perfect for this movie to work, both for fans and for critics. Because I think if you alter it would just be so hard, or it's just going to be so hard for them to do this properly. But I mean, I think the story, while on thin ice with the whole 2 books thing, could work, but the make or break aspect of this film will be the casting and I guess the writers too, for making sure they've got the dialogue for these characters right, because obviously the dialogue's not going to be the same as it was in the books, but yeah. In any case, I really hope Disney is up to the challenge, because they have put a whopper in their hands right now. You know, you figure there are so many books that could breed this kind of a challenge, like Harry Potter, Chronicles of Narnia. For me, Artemis Fowl is like the challenge for a movie maker because of how wonderful the books are. So, again, I wish Disney luck. I hope and pray this movie is good, because I really want to see a good Artemis Fowl movie. So what do you guys think about this? Is this a good idea, bad idea? Do you think they should just keep keep the movie just on the first book, or do you actually like the idea of them doing the 2 books for 1 movie thing? And who do you think should play or should be cast for certain roles in this movie? I don't have any ideas, so I want to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. This is Rick signing off. Peace.